asked my friend. I'm in Miami. I don't have a lot of friends out here, okay? She asked me if she could work out with me. I said, okay. You gotta believe what you want. It's the last time you're gonna be cursing at me, disrespecting me over nothing. Like I'm a human being. I'm not gonna lock myself up in a room and have no friends. I don't have a bunch of guy friends. I already told you that. And she just came over to work out. But I'm not gonna be explaining to you. It don't matter if I just got finished her the other day. I'm single. I could do whatever the I want to, but I didn't. You're straight flipping out on me, and I told you that you had one more time to do this. Flipping out on me because somebody came to work out with me at my house. You're nuts. So be sad, go crazy, do whatever you want to do. Okay, I don't deserve you. I don't deserve being honest with somebody. And then every time they see somebody around, they like, I'm doing something working out. Hey, I really don't know what's going on with you, but I just want to just give you a heads up that I'm about to really disappear on you. You feel me? I'm not going to be playing these games with you at all, at all. So I don't know, you think you silent treating me, and you think I'm going to be, nah. You'll have a rude awakening. You'll just have silence. And ain't nobody threatening you, and I ain't trying to go back and forth with no woman. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, I ain't got no time for no games. Where my life is at right now, I don't have no time for no games, baby girl. Me and you could be mad, I could have a spat, we could have whatever. Then after that, you better get on your job. That's really, that's all it is. Cause you got me on my job. Nah, it ain't never gonna work like that over here. You know what I'm saying? I was trying not to leave this message, but you have left me no choice. So either you go in the direction of like moving on like that, or you like just like have me just keep moving. Ain't no threat, I'm just being clear. I can't do this with you every time you get upset.
Jane testified that she went to Sean Diddy Combs' house soon after the latest text exchange she testified about. The visit ended up being one of my favorite moments, she said. The jury saw photos of the two of them together in his master bathroom. She recalled this was the first time she felt supported by Combs. I felt that he had really absorbed for the first time what I was saying. I felt that he understood me in this moment, Jane said. They spent time together over the next few days in late October, but she left when it got closer to his birthday on November 4th. With celebrations, I just felt like they would be put on me as far as him wanting to party, Jane said. Combs didn't call her to party for his birthday, but Jane said she bought him a mobile television screen they could use for pornographic movie nights, hoping that could replace the entertainers. You placed all these harmful men on me and risked my health, Jane texted to Combs. The jury has heard a further string of October 2023 texts between Jane and Sean Diddy Combs in which he repeatedly asked her to call him to talk. At one point Jane texted Combs, "You placed and paid all of these harmful men on me and risked my health. This was never love. I regret everything and all this dark toxic sh*t that entered my life," Jane texted to Combs. After more messages were sent, Jane and Combs had a phone call in which he tried to calm her down, she testified. She later texted him that she was processing some sort of trauma and just needs some healing time to get back to myself. I feel as your lover I wanted to please you and de-stress you, and I pushed through and went along with things even when deep down I wanted the night to be over, she said to Combs in a message. She wrote that she would try to give Combs cues to let him know she wanted to finish, but he would encourage her to push through. I know I was consenting like I say on tape, Jane wrote. She testified that she was referencing their phone conversation in which Combs told her, "If anyone were to watch these tapes, they would have thought you were having the best time. They look like you were consenting." Prosecutor Maureen Comey asked her if that was true. Jane paused for a long time before responding, "I'm still trying to figure that out." Jane says she asked Combs for money following the traumatic party. Jane said that after the sobriety party, Sean Diddy Combs went to Miami. She said she texted him asking him to put money in her account. Jane sent more angry text messages about feeling used for the sobriety party that had turned into a hotel night when Combs didn't answer. Combs sent her an audio message telling her he's single and doesn't have to listen to her. The argument continued, and eventually Jane and Combs got on the phone. Jane testified that over the phone, Combs offered to pay 3 months more of rent after she expressed her frustration over the party, which she called traumatic. Jane testified that she told him, "I'm not Gina or Cassie," two other women Combs dated, who Jane said left their relationships with Combs quietly. After the call, Jane texted him, "You agreed to match my 2-year investment in this toxic relationship. Match the 2 years like you said and we're leaving each other alone," Jane messaged him. "Don't call me, don't text me, I am dead to you." She testified that she wrote, "I'm dead to you," because Combs had said that to her on the phone call. In a later text, she said that Combs had been threatening to take away her home. Combs responded by calling Jane crazy. He said that, "The beauty is we both don't have to do anything we don't want to do." Jane testified that he was referring to paying her rent in that message. Jane responded that he was threatening her house, for the millionth time, and that he got her sick. She testified that after the sobriety party, she got a UTI and a yeast infection. Jane met Combs for sobriety party, hotel night in October 2023, she testifies. After their message exchanges about his health, Jane met Sean Diddy Combs at his residence, and they ended up going to a hotel room for a sobriety party on October 18, 2023, she testified. Jane didn't take drugs during the sobriety party, and she threw up after having sex with 2 men, she testified. When she told Combs she had thrown up, he said, "Okay, that's good, you'll feel better now. Let's go outside." She then had sex with a 3rd man. Jane said at the end of the night she felt absolutely terrible. Jane has previously testified the following about the October 2023 sobriety party at a hotel in Beverly Hills, California. She said that wanted Combs to get sober around this time, and he agreed to stop taking substances for 30 days but wanted to have one last sobriety party first. This party was a hotel night that lasted 12 to 18 hours, she testified last week. She didn't take any drugs, but Combs took ecstasy and cocaine, she testified. Prosecutor Maureen Comey asked Jane last week how she felt after doing that hotel night without any drugs. "I was just disgusted. I was just repulsed. I was just so mad at myself for doing that," Jane responded. "I just deeply regretted that." Jane says she responded to Combs' messages about medical issues because she cared about his health. Jane continues to testify about text conversations she had with Sean Diddy Combs in October 2023. Combs texted Jane a screenshot of a conversation he had with his doctor about his knees, she testified. He wrote that he was stressed, that there was a lot going on, and on top of that I'm horny, according to testimony. Combs texted Jane a screenshot of a conversation he had with his doctor about his knees, she testified. He wrote that he was stressed, that there was a lot going on, and on top of that I'm horny, according to testimony. Jane responded by telling him to take it easy and giving him some advice about his medical issues. She hadn't agreed to see him before that message, but she responded because she cared about his health, she testified. Jane says she stopped answering Combs' calls after they fought. The fight carried into the next day, Jane testified. She said she told Sean Diddy Combs she needed space and stopped answering his calls. Combs left her an audio message saying, "You know I wouldn't be calling you like this, I need you, girl." Then, later in the day, Combs said, "Can I please come over there, that's my house too." Jane said he was referring to the house she was living in where he was paying the rent. Jane testified that she was shutting him out, not answering his messages or calls because every time she let him in, I'd be right back into whatever he wanted. Love bombing would start whenever Combs wanted one of these nights, Jane testifies. After the short break, Jane has resumed testifying about the text conversation between her and Sean Diddy Combs on October 16, 2023. "Spend the day with your family or Gina, I need time to myself," Jane wrote, according to messages she read aloud in court. Gina is another woman Combs had a relationship with, according to previous testimony. "No, I want to see you. We don't have to have sex. I want to spend the day with you, please," Combs responded, according to the reading in court. "You beat the love out of us. You made it crystal clear exactly what you want me for. You're going to spend the day love bombing me so you can get what you want. It's not genuine. I've hit a mental and spiritual wall," Jane wrote in the messages. She testified that, whenever he wanted me or one of these nights, the love bombing or the persistency would start. Judge and jury return after short break. Judge Arun Subramanian is back on the bench after a short break, and the jury is returning. Jane, one of Sean, Diddy, Combs' accusers who is using a pseudonym and dated Combs from 2021 to 2024, is back on the stand. The jury is taking a short break. Here's what happened in court this morning. From CNN's Ali Rosenblum. Jane, one of Sean, Diddy, Combs' accusers who is testifying under a pseudonym, continued her direct examination this morning. Here's what she has testified so far. Don't say no to me. Jane read aloud text exchanges from 2023 in which Combs pressured her to send him bad girl texts. Instead, Jane expressed concern that Combs was carrying a phone containing footage of their hotel nights together. According to her testimony, Combs dismissed her concerns and told her to just do what I say, and don't say no to me, please. Jane said she had Combs buy a phone specifically for their hotel nights because his staff had access to his personal phone. Feeling obligated, Jane testified that she sent Combs a text message saying she did not want to play this role anymore, writing, "It's dark, sleazy, and makes me feel disgusted with myself." She also told Combs she didn't want to feel obligated to perform these nights with you in fear of losing the roof over my head, referring to the fact that Combs had been paying her rent. According to Jane, Combs did not address her concerns about feeling obligated and instead promised they would have a proper New York trip, with dinners and shopping. However, when Jane next traveled to New York, she testified, Combs arranged another hotel night. Other women. Jane testified that she was frustrated because she believed Combs was seeing other women while still planning hotel nights with her. She said she felt he treated her differently than others, explaining, "She had to earn just basic things from my relationship like love and respect and romance, but I felt like he was giving it to everyone else." Jane said she told Combs she needed a break from having sex with other men and that she didn't want to give my body to anybody else at all. Jane's direct examination is expected to continue after the break and throughout the afternoon today. "I'm not a porn star. I'm not an animal," Jane wrote to Combs in request for a break. In later messages from the same October 2023 conversation, Jane wrote, "Our experiences are desensitizing sex for me, and that she didn't want to be mistreated," according to testimony in court. "I don't feel like performing loveless cold sex," she wrote. Jane was frustrated because she felt like Combs treated her differently than he treated others, she testified. "I had to earn just basic things from my relationship like love and respect and romance, but I felt like he was giving it to everyone else," she said. "I'm not a porn star. I'm not an animal. I need a break. I don't want to do anything. I've hit a wall," she wrote in the messages. She testified the request for a break referred to not wanting to give my body to anybody else at all. The conversation continued into October 16, 2023. Combs wrote to Jane, "Let's spend the day just me and you, no strangers please. It's my only day off." Jane responded, "It's loveless for me and nothing satisfies you and you always push me to do more and more." Combs said, "Let me make love to you, it's filled with love. Spend the day with your family or your ex, I need time to myself," Jane responded. Jane testified that it didn't matter how good a night was. "He always wanted me to do more and more," she said. In October 2023, Jane and Sean, Diddy, Combs were discussing Combs' request for her to arrange a party with entertainers or men paid to have sexual encounters with Jane. At the same time, Jane said she saw one of Combs' ex-girlfriends posting with Combs on her social media. Jane testified she was furious that he was asking for a hotel night while he was with another woman. "You got that girl next to you, so figure it out," Jane texted Combs. Combs responded, "You're the only thing that's going to put me at peace, please." Jane responded, "Introduce her to P. It's not me, it's the entertainment that puts you at peace." Jane testified that P was a reference to an entertainer named Paul. Entertainer joined Combs and Jane in Miami after New York encounter, she says. A few days after the September 2023 New York City hotel night trip, Jane next saw Sean, Diddy, Combs at a Miami hotel, she testified. On the Miami trip, Combs wanted to watch footage from the New York trip, Jane testified. Combs wanted a part two, so they had the entertainer who was with them in New York, joined them in Miami on that trip as well, she said. Jane describes organizing another hotel night for Combs. Jane testified that Sean Diddy Combs' surprise entertainer didn't go well, so she felt like she had to make it up to Combs. She contacted another entertainer they had called for previous hotel nights and arranged to have him fly to New York City. The jury saw texts between Jane and the man in which Jane told him that she was sorting out his cash payment. In another text, she told him that there'd be an envelope with cash left at the front desk of the Trump International Hotel. Jane testified she got the cash from Combs. Combs arranged a hotel night in New York after promising a proper trip, Jane testifies. Jane is continuing to testify about a series of communications she had with Sean Diddy Combs before she visited him in New York in 2023, in which she says she felt disrespected and told him she didn't want him to use her for a hotel binge. Combs sent her a voice message telling her how sick he was, and that nothing she was saying made sense, she testified. He didn't acknowledge her comment about feeling obligated to perform at hotel nights, she said. Hotel nights, she's previously testified, were sexual encounters that included a male entertainer. They then got on a FaceTime call after that, and Combs calmed her down and said everything she wanted to hear, she testified. He promised they'd have a proper New York trip, with dinners and shopping, and didn't mention a hotel night, she said. Jane went to New York on September 17, 2023, because she didn't think there'd be a hotel night, she testified. Once she got on the plane, however, Combs sent her messages about arranging a hotel night. I just remember just taking a deep breath and just feeling upset and a little disappointed, a little defeated, Jane testified. In responding to his messages, she tried to brush away his questions about a hotel night, she testified. Okay, I have a surprise if that's okay, just one, Combs responded. Jane testified that meant Combs was going to introducing her to a new entertainer for a hotel night. She said she hated it. Once she was in New York City, Jane and Combs went to a lounge, she said. We bickered a bit and I was kind of showing discomfort about these nights and how it's just being sprung on me, Jane testified. She said Combs was being defensive. On the way back to the hotel, she took an ecstasy pill, she said. Then she was back in the hotel room in lingerie and this new surprise was coming. Jane texted Combs, I don't want to be used to perform and fulfill your fantasies. In another message to Sean Diddy Combs, Jane said she felt disrespected and didn't want him to use her for a hotel binge. I don't want to be used and locked in a room to perform and fulfill your fantasies, Jane texted him. Coming to the realization of what this really is. Combs responded to Jane, I'm tired of your false accusations. Jane sent Combs a message in September 2023 that said, I don't want to play this role in your life anymore. It's dark, sleazy, and makes me feel disgusted with myself. I feel it's the only reason you have me around and why you pay for the house. I don't want to feel obligated to perform these nights with you in fear of losing the roof over my head. I don't want to keep feeling like that anymore. She testified that she had felt obligated to engage in the hotel nights since Combs started paying the rent for her new home in April. Jane said Combs would say little guilt-trippy things about the house. I felt like he had made such a big purchase, and I felt that this was something I had to do in return to make him feel okay about that, she testified. Combs responded, "Girl, stop," to her message and then later said they should talk. Jane testified that she had Combs buy a phone just for their hotel nights because all of Combs' assistants had the security code for his personal phones he regularly used. Jane testified that she was upset at the time of these texts because she had just heard Combs give a podcast interview during which he bragged about how he had sex for 48 hours straight with another woman. Jane testified the trip he referenced in the podcast was a yacht excursion Combs promised to take her on, and that when he took the other woman on that trip, Combs downplayed it, claiming they didn't have sex. Jane is back on the stand. Jane, one of Sean Diddy Combs' accusers who is using a pseudonym, has returned to the witness stand. Judge Arun Subramanian says he'll pick up the defense's mistrial motion tomorrow because the government plans to respond in a filing at some point today. The defense team submitted to move for a mistrial over the weekend. The motion was based on the testimony of Brianna Bongolan, which defense attorneys said is demonstrably false. Jane will continue testifying this morning at 9 a.m. ET. Prosecutor Maureen Comey said she will likely take most of today, if not all day, to finish direct examination. Jane testified Friday about the drug-fueled sexual performances called hotel nights she said she endured during her relationship with Combs. Jane described how she told the music mogul she wanted to stop them, and she broke into tears when she detailed having a hotel night on her birthday. Jane, who dated Combs from 2021 to 2024, testified that Combs falsely promised he'd spend quality time alone with her and dismissed her repeated requests to stop participating in his sexual hotel nights. Jane said that Combs promised her the things she wanted, like date nights and quality time, but said he wanted to have hotel nights first. She would agree, but then afterward they'd be too exhausted and spent the rest of our free time sleeping, she testified. Jane testified having a hotel night with Combs on her birthday in 2022 where she had sex with another man at Combs' direction. Jane's and Combs had another hotel night in 2023 even though she was hesitant and Combs promised a romantic time prior to her flying to New York. Combs still pays for her rent to this day, Jane says. Jane said she and Combs entered into a love contract in 2023 in which he agreed to pay her $10,000 per month rent as an allowance. He is still paying for her rent, even now, she testified on Friday. She also testified he threatened to cut her off financially if she stopped participating in hotel nights. Jane testified that she understood her job was taking care of him, being good to him and making sure he was happy, which included the sexual encounters. She said his job was taking care of her financially. Jury sees and hears a hotel night. The jury heard audio from a hotel night in which Combs was dismissive of a request from Jane to have her male sex partner wear a condom. The jury was also shown 15 photos that weren't released to the public. None of the exhibits were shown to the public in court that showed, Jane testified, her and another man during a hotel night. Combs was present for all of the nights pictured, Jane said. Jane said on the stand that she and Combs had a conversation before that hotel night, in which he told her it would be okay if she wanted the man she would have sex with to wear a condom. He eventually gave the entertainer a condom, Jane said. Jane was asked why she needed Combs' permission to have the man wear a condom, and Jane seemed to get emotional and said she was still trying to process that. She said she didn't insist on the man wearing a condom because then Combs would be unhappy. Alleged drug trafficking and drug use. Jane testified that when Combs would run out of drugs during a hotel night, he'd call an assistant, a butler or one of his security guards to bring more. She even recalled a time in 2022 when Combs instructed her to pick up drugs in Los Angeles and fly with them to meet him in Miami. Jane testified that Combs gave her drugs during the hotel nights that kept her awake for longer and made it easier for her to participate in the fantasy. Jane cries as she details birthday hotel night. Jane cried and was emotional as she detailed one 2023 hotel night in Miami where she had sex with 3 other men at Combs' insistence on her birthday. Jane testified she flew to Miami with Combs, who told her they'd spend quality time together only to bring up plans for a hotel night during dinner. On the stand, Jane grew very emotional while discussing the birthday. She heaved more than once as she cried, and prosecutor Maureen Comey asked her repeatedly if she needed a break. Each time Jane said no. At another point in her testimony, a box of tissues was passed to her in the witness box by the courtroom deputy.
I came over to work out, but I'm not going to be explaining to you. It don't matter if I just got finished her the other day. I'm single, I could do whatever the I want to, but I didn't. You're straight flipping out on me, and I told you that you had one more time to do this. Flipping out on me because somebody came to work out with me at my house. You're nuts. So be sad, go crazy, do whatever you want to do. Okay, I don't deserve you. I don't deserve being honest with somebody, and then every time they see somebody around, they like, hey, I really don't know what's going on with you, but I just want to just give you a heads up that I'm about to really disappear on you. You feel me? I'm not going to be playing these games with you at all, at all. So I don't know. You think you silent treating me, and you think I'm gonna be nah. You'll have a rude awakening. You'll just have silence, and ain't nobody threatening you. And I ain't trying to go back and forth with no woman. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, I ain't got no time for no games. Where my life is at right now, I don't have no time for no games, baby girl. Me and you can be mad. I can have a spat. We can have whatever. Then after that, you better get on your job. That's really that's all it is. Cause you got me on my job. Nah, it ain't never gonna work like that over here. You know what I'm saying? I was trying not to leave this message, but you have left me no choice. So either you go in the direction of like moving on like that, or you like just like have me just keep moving. Ain't no threat. I'm just being clear. I can't do this with you every time you get upset.